If you want to talk about someone who was attacked by a weaponized bureau, you're looking at him. And now he's the director of the FBI and he's cleaning it up. Nope. I think the common theme here is you putting words in my mouth, and I'm not going to tolerate it, nor will the men and women of the FBI. That's wildly inaccurate. Let me tell you what the FBI has done since I got there. 8,276 federal arrests to 820 kilograms seized of fentanyl. That's enough to kill.
I just watched one of the most intense Senate showdowns in recent memory, and it did not disappoint. A self-proclaimed, woke, congresswoman attempted to put FBI Director Kash Patel on the spot with claims of political bias, but things didn't go the way she expected. Instead, Patel turned the tables, shutting down the accusations and pulling back the curtain on just how deep the political maneuvering in Washington really runs. This is the kind of moment you won't see covered honestly by mainstream media, and there's a lot more to unpack here. Stick with me for the full breakdown, because you're going to want to hear every detail. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on what others aren't telling you.
Whether it's stopping criminal organizations or domestic terrorists, protects our nation's secrets, it prevents cyber attacks, keeps our children safe from harm, and a lot more. So this is really sober work with extremely high stakes. And I'm concerned that instead of focusing on the incredibly important mandate to keep Americans safe and to help impartially enforce our laws under your leadership, Director Patel, the FBI has been weaponized to go after Americans who disagree with the president. FBI resources have been diverted away from combating terrorism to focusing on immigration requests. And all of this, the diverted missions, the fewer resources, fewer agents, heightened politicization, is happening now under your watch, and it is, I believe, making Americans less safe. Now, let me just start with the budget. As Ranking Member Van Hollen noted earlier, this hearing is being held without the FBI's fiscal year 2025 spend plan and a full budget request for fiscal year 2026. The spend plan is required by law. It was due to Congress over a week ago. We have not yet seen it. That is really absurd. The FBI is our nation's leading law enforcement agency, a budget of $10.7 billion. It is critical that we understand how you are spending taxpayer dollars. So, Director Patel, when should we expect this FY25 spend plan for the FBI? Have you seen it? Have you reviewed it? When will we get it?
I'll get you an answer, ma'am. I don't have a timeline on that.
It was due last week by law.
I understand.
And your answer is you just understand. You're not going to follow the law?
My answer is that I am following the law, and I'm working with my interagency partners to do this and get you the budget that you are required to have.
And you have no timeline?
No.
Well, we also need a full budget request, not a single paragraph full of wild talking points that we saw with the skinny budget proposal. We're now having a budget hearing without a budget request. So, Director Patel, where is the FY 2026 budget request for the FBI?
It's being worked on, ma'am.
Have you reviewed it? Have you approved it?
Not yet.
When will we get it?
As soon as I can get it from my interagency partners and get it approved.
6 months from now?
I don't know, ma'am. I'm not going to make up a timeline.
Well, how do we as Congress do our budget and our work without that request and without the spend plan?
Well, ma'am, I'm here. I'm doing the
care.
best I can. I can't make up answers. I'm going to commit to you to work on getting you the information you need.
Well, that is insufficient and deeply disturbing. No response?
I've given my response.
Well, the FBI is already down 1,900 employees since 2023 as a direct result of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. And under the Trump administration, FBI agents, analysts, linguists, cyber experts, and scientists are being asked to do a lot more in order to keep us safe. Director Patel, we all know that budget cuts will reduce the FBI's ability to counter threats of terrorism, and it will hinder its ability to keep pace with firearm background checks and shutter operations that combat violent crime, drugs, gangs, and transnational organized crime. Now, I understand that you told our House colleagues yesterday that you don't want to reduce the FBI workforce, meaning that you disagree with what President Trump is proposing?
No, I agree that we can sustain the mission with the proposed budget, and I agree with the budget. And as I said yesterday, I believe that what I said was I can do more with more. And I gave examples of what more we could do if we were given more.
Well, it's different than what you told the House yesterday. So What are you communicating to the President and the White House about what you need and what, and again, we don't have a budget request from you, so I'm not sure what you're asking us for.
I'm not asking you for anything at this time.
You can operate without a budget?
I never said that.
Well, this is unprecedented. I want to ask one final question here, Mr. Chairman. I want to talk again about how the FBI is focusing its resources. President Trump has turned the Department of Justice into a tool to go after his perceived enemies, and many of the actions we have now seen at the FBI are alarming. The FBI has reassigned and pushed out career FBI agents for political reasons. We have seen fear and intimidation promoted throughout the Bureau, including by polygraphing your own staff. We've seen the arrest of a sitting judge in Wisconsin, and during your confirmation hearing, you committed that there would be no politicization, no retribution at the FBI under your leadership. You've reportedly placed FBI employees responsible for investigation January 6 cases on leave. Is that keeping up your promise of no politicization, no retribution?
It is, because that's wildly inaccurate. Let me tell you what the FBI has done since I got there. 8,276 federal arrests, to 820 kilograms seized of fentanyl. That's enough to kill 250,000 people, over 3,000 firearms seized, 350 gang cases, 3,000 cases against violent
well,
criminals.
that's not my question. We know that you...
Well, you asked if I was weaponizing the FBI, and I am not. I'm giving you the hard, concrete examples of the men and women putting handcuffs on bad people, doing harm to our children and innocent Americans. I do not see weaponization.
You have placed on leave FBI employees responsible for the investigation of January 6th. That sounds political to me.
I have not placed anyone on leave who has not violated their ethical obligation or their oath to the Constitution.
So if they were investigating January 6th, you believe they were violating an ethical obligation?
Nope. I think the common theme here is you putting words in my mouth, and I'm not going to tolerate it, nor will the men and women of the FBI.
Well, you did place on leave an analyst responsible for investigating Russia's meddling in the 2016 election. Is that politicization? Is that retribution?
No, not if she broke the law or the ethical guidelines. I don't know which case you're talking about, but that's the standard. And we will hold ourselves inwardly accountable, and we will not be strayed from our mission because people think we are politicizing the Bureau. If you want to talk about someone who was attacked by a weaponized Bureau, you're looking at him. And now he's the director of the FBI, and he's cleaning it up.
Well, I would just say to everyone who's listening that the FBI needs to be focused on its mission to keep the entire country safe. It should not be weaponized for partisan political gain. Thank you,
We are.
Chairman.
The Congresswoman came in aggressive, launching accusations that Patel had turned the FBI into a tool against Americans who oppose the current administration. She criticized him for missing budget deadlines and went as far as claiming the Bureau was being used for partisan purposes. Her tone was sharp, her delivery intense. It was obvious she expected him to fold under pressure, but that's not what happened. Patel stayed composed and responded with a steady stream of facts. He outlined the Bureau's work under his leadership: more than 8,000 arrests, over 820 kilograms of fentanyl seized, enough to endanger hundreds of thousands of lives, thousands of illegal firearms removed from the streets, and hundreds of gang-related cases pursued. Point by point, he made it clear the FBI's focus has been on public safety, not politics. Unwilling to back off, the Congresswoman shifted her argument. She brought up FBI employees connected to January 6 and the 2016 Russia investigation who had been placed on leave, suggesting it was politically motivated retaliation. Patel pushed back immediately. He stated plainly that any disciplinary actions were based on violations of ethical standards or the law, not political beliefs. Looking directly at her, he told her to stop misrepresenting his words. That moment changed everything in the room. Then Patel took it further, sharing something personal. He revealed that he himself had once been on the receiving end of what he described as a weaponized system. Now, as FBI director, he said his mission is to restore integrity and refocus the Bureau on its core purpose. It wasn't just a defense, it was a statement about the system he claims to have experienced firsthand. What began as an attack quickly shifted into something else entirely, a moment that put the spotlight back on the Congresswoman's claims and approach. The exchange became more than just a tense back and forth. It reflected a broader debate about trust, accountability, and the role of major institutions. Patel's response wasn't just about statistics, it was about asserting a vision for what the FBI should be. And in that exchange, the tone of the conversation changed in a way few expected. If you want more breakdowns like this, make sure to stay tuned, because conversations like these aren't going away anytime soon.